And we are live.
And we
Welcome
are
to Claim Your Power Hour. I'm here with the delightful Debbie G.
Hello, everybody. It is wonderful to be here. I dropped in just now to. God, it's good to be here. How are you doing, David?
You parachuted in just for
I literally did. I swear to
just
you.
for this
And
appearance.
I might have been taking a nap.
Good for you. Well, I was eating steak and drinking wine out back just a few minutes ago, and Michael said, "You can go do that after drinking wine." I'm like, yeah, I used to do a show where we would drink scotch at night,
Yes.
and I would channel.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, as long as I don't
Absolutely.
drink too much scotch, a little sip.
The
A
sippy
little
sippy.
sip. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Say hello. I see some YouTube folks chiming in and saying hello. We are live on YouTube, the Stream of David channel, and we are live on the Stream of David Facebook page, the Spirituality Gone Wild Facebook page, and in the Taya Practice Facebook group. So we're kind of blasting everywhere. Good to see everybody chiming in and signing on. We mainly want to have fun on Claim Your Power Hour. I do have a big topic, though, that I want to throw out there. We can always talk about anything that you want. So ask questions, make comments, put out any topic, anything you want to chat about, we can chat about. But I want to talk about the leading edge of thought.
Okay. Expand
Not a
on that
term
a
that
little.
I invented, certainly, and I'm not the only one that uses it, but I do like that term, and I do use it from time to time. And I don't want to just throw that term around, though. I want to be very clear about what I mean when I say leading edge of thought. But I kind of want to hear from everybody. What do they think the leading edge of thought is? And Debbie, what's your interpretation of that?
Well, the leading edge of thought. He's just throwing this at me, and I want you all to know I just woke up in my nappy. So I just want you all to bear with me here, just for a
She
moment.
just woke up for a nap. Okay, she thinks we're going to laugh and talk about what we had for lunch, and I'm going to dive into what's the meaning of the universe, Debbie? Come on.
Well, Jesus. Well, I woke up this morning. It was raining, and then it started snowing. The leading edge of thought. The thought is fleeting. Fleeting. The thought is fleeting. Thought is something that comes. Where does thought come from? Anybody ever think about where the thought comes from? It's an amazing thing how thought is just this thing that comes and then it goes.
I like where you're going with this.
Thank you. I'm just going with where I feel led with that.
Well, because leading edge sounds kind of egotistical. It can. We're the leading edge of thought. We're leading edge of thought. We're thinking deeper than anyone else on the planet right now. And I've been in conversations like that, and I've even said that, where I think, gosh, nobody else is talking about this stuff this way.
Oh God, can I please say this?
We're getting together and creating this.
Oh, Mr. Kata.
Yes.
There's no original thought ever. And I do not believe there's an original thought. I believe that that we are all so universally connected that thoughts are woven between us like fine threads through tapestry. That's what I think. And I think that thought only has the power that you give to it. It is just that. It is a thought. A thought can manifest into a physical something. It can be a computer that you're wanting. It could be the room I'm designing for Hip Camp right now. It could be the thought in my mind and the creativeness behind thought and what that is. So thought can be a lot of things, but it is what you make of it, and it's our choice. So, JB, the leading edge of thought is living outside the box. I think that's great. I love that. So I mean, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts for now.
You pointed out, and I just threw you under the bus right off the bat here, but that's okay. You're good at that. I know you're good with that. So
yeah.
You're right. Everything has the meaning that you give to it. Everything has the power that you give to it. So these are just words. It's just a term, and it can mean lots of different things to different people. And everyone thinks that their thoughts are the most brilliant. usually.
No, because there's no original thought. That's a kick in the ass
That's
for
an ego
some.
thing, though. That's an ego thing that that they've got it all figured out. Their way is the right way. I'm Mr. Belief System. I love all belief systems because I think they
Yeah,
all contribute to the environment.
I think
So
I'll.
belief systems that think that we're kooks, I'm completely down with that because their belief system, they are creating their reality via their belief system, and it's just a system.
Yeah.
All thought, all human conscious thought is tied to our belief system.
Right. Right.
And the way that we experience things, we create newer levels of understanding and we expand in that newer level of understanding. But you're right. We talk about all the time that the reason unwanted things exist is to inspire new creation. But that new creation is new creation for our strand of consciousness.
Mm.
So the leading edge of thought is source, the source of all creation, but you're never surprising source, right?
No.
Oh,
Right.
never thought about that way. Humanity has figured something out that source didn't know. And source is not a person, or never was, and I get that. But um, I like to think of the human leading edge of thought, or this heightened sophistication that we are creating with this practice, and certainly it's being created in other ways with other things. I don't claim to have a monopoly on the leading edge of thought, nor do I think anybody else does. As a side note, I haven't had this happen in a long time. I'm going to tell you a little story. When I first started out, the only spiritual teacher I ever really paid attention to was Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
And I avoided Abraham for years. I went to a psychic who told me I was a channel and I needed to listen to Abraham. And I thought it was some biblical religious thing. And I judged it and I avoided it until it really sort of came for me. And I listened to it and it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's everything I've been thinking my whole life, being spoken back by somebody else. So love Abraham and very informed by Abraham teachings. But there was absolutely something missing for me in the teachings. I'm very honest about that. There was something like, this is great for this, but I don't think this is the whole shebang. I think the whole shebang is something different, and I really want to explore that. And so I stopped listening to Abraham stuff and started my podcast and started channeling. I taught myself how to channel. And then the Taya practice was created, and all this has happened since then. Doesn't mean that it's better than or an improvement upon or anything like that. It's just different. That's all. Serves a different audience, and sometimes serves the same audience. And that's where I'm going with this. Is when I first started out, I would use a lot of Abraham language. The leading edge of thought is certainly an Abraham term that they use all the time. Oh yeah,
Really?
and,
I is it?
And the Abraham people would really come for me. Not Abraham, not Esther Hicks, not, they're not, there's nothing dogma, there's nothing cult-like about them at all. But some of their followers have turned it into that. Their belief system is that Abraham is the supreme, thing, and that, everybody else is a knockoff of Abraham. And if I would use the Abraham terminology, oh, this sounds like Abraham, you're ripping off Abraham. So I early on, I would hear some of that. I haven't done that in years. Well, the other day, I'm back on TikTok now. I haven't posted on TikTok in months, and now I'm starting to post again. And somebody on TikTok said that the other day. Like, this sounds like Abraham Hicks teachings to me. And I thought that was kind of funny. That, the Abraham folks, I'm waking them up again. They're coming for me. It's okay. But a lot of people in our world were Abraham people at one time. I think it's part of the journey. But the leading edge of thought, do I think that I created that, or no, of course not. But for me, the leading edge of thought is a little different than the Abraham message. The Abraham message is really focused on joy and being up your spiral and being happy and getting everything that you want materially and otherwise. And that's not untrue. That's great. For me, the leading edge of thought and what I am teaching about and where I am guiding anybody to that wants to join, and it's completely up to you if you do or not, is to this place where we understand that we are expressions of source, that source is not judgmental, source is not human, source is not a collective of former physical beings, source is source. And source is expansion, is love, is abundance, and that's the very best of us is source. And to be at the leading edge of thought is to understand that there is a space available for us in physical where we can operate almost void of fear and judgment. Not completely, because those things serve a purpose to a point, right? Somebody's coming at me with a gun, or somebody, if I've found myself in fear mechanism kicks in, fight or flight, and I'm out of there. So it's got a point. Judgment, yes, discerners of preference. We're always discerners of preference. Beyond that, though, I think that that's been really overdeveloped for humanity past its expiration date, in my opinion. And to me, that's the matrix cracking up, and everything that we see going on in society, we see signs of the matrix cracking up and sort of fighting for life. And people that are polarized, people that are kind of mired in polarity, are having that experience. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for those of us that don't want to be living in fear and don't want to be triggered, we don't want to have to go bury our heads in the spiritual sand and pretend like humanity doesn't exist. Consuming life, consuming the earth environment, experiencing it without fear and judgment of anything. And that's the heart, that's the leading edge part, because everybody's like, oh, okay, that's okay until this point. Until, a child is being harmed, or until, there's always these places where they're just not going to go past the marker. And the leading edge of thought is not about celebrating the stuff that we don't like. It's about having a deeper understanding of it, so that we're not judging it anymore and we're not fearing it anymore. And I think that solves it, because I found in life, working with people, from all walks of life in Taya, that when they detune their transgressors cease to be. People exit their lives, financial problems clear up, health problems go away, terminal diagnosis transform, addictions are overcome for good, as you well know in your work. The detuning thing is everything.
It's everything. It's everything. It has to do a lot with thought. Well, I love what you were talking about here with thought. I'm curious. What if all of our thoughts are really source and we just want to take credit for it?
Well, we're operating in, I think the ego is a component of the physical vehicle.
So what do you? But I mean, like seriously, what if?
Experience. So sure, the ego is
But David, what if like we're not actually making our own? What if we think we're making decisions, but we're not?
I think we're discovering. I think we're on a journey of discovery as physical beings, back to your favorite saying of "we're all just walking each other home."
Oh, we're all just walking each other home.
Is that Eckhart?
Ram Dass said that.
Ram Dass, sorry.
No,
see, I don't. Well, Abraham, I haven't paid that much attention. So, and these people are fantastic. I'm just saying that my journey was just not that. My journey was very inward, and I've learned a lot from Debbie. There's times that Debbie and I used to do a show, and she would throw out some term, and I'm like, let me get the Google out and see what the hell she's talking about. So that leading edge of thought is understanding that we can operate we can have a human experience, operate this physical vehicle that we're in, and do it without any fear and judgment, or very, very little, and not having that thing that we have to judge as bad or wrong or shouldn't be.
Yep. I had that, if y'all, I don't know about everybody else. How are y'all doing out there? I had a lot happening this morning. It was a lot. I'm telling you. I woke up to a lot of stuff. The thoughts that I get to do are, here's the cool thing about thought, is the fact that with the Taya tools, you've learned to detune. Well, you also understand how to maneuver. This is what it was like for me this morning. Just maneuvering.
You look like you're skiing. You said it's snowing, so
you may as well. Can you guys even believe that? I was cracking up. Yesterday it was sunny. We're putting hip camp together. We've got all this cool stuff out there. Today it's snowing and this and that. I have situations that are out of my control, period. How am I going to handle it? Direct and straightforward. The thoughts, though, that come, are we going to continue to allow your thoughts to be something that take away your joy, take away your peace, take away your creativity, take away your passion, take away all the things that make you you, or realize that I've been asking myself, so is that true? Is that true? Is that true? No. Then why am I even thinking that? Because it was an old habit. I recognize it. I see it. But thoughts are also something that I love that you can change. You can change your thought. You can decide that that thought isn't what you want in the moment. It's amazing how much control we have over our own brain.
Yeah.
And
We
sometimes I
don't
don't
think
want
so
control.
because we operate in a matrix and we're reactive to the matrix.
I
But man,
reacted to the
when you
Matrix
recognize the
earlier.
matrix for what it is and
Yeah.
don't demonize it, you can if you want to. There's no rules in anything I teach, but the demonization of anything gives it life.
Yeah.
So if you recognize that, hey, there's this whole matrix and it runs on fear and judgment, and it teaches us to compare against other people, ourselves against other people. It teaches us that we're supposed to have this specific, what this journey is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Yet it's not for everyone, and for those for whom the journey does not look the way the matrix says, then they suffer in the judgment of that. All of these things, the human experience can be anything and everything that you want it to be, and you can detune the fear and judgment of it and detune the suffering in that process that we create for ourselves. Because the matrix, yes, it gives you a template. That's why people love religion, because religion gives you a template. Here's how here's 10 commandments, and here's a whole bunch of other rules that we threw in there with it. And if you're going to be part of our community, this is a template for how you're supposed to live your life and your family, your children. And here's some community aspect of that. It's ready-made. Dive into it. There you go. That works for a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
It does.
I suppose.
Until it
Well,
doesn't anymore, or until you are challenged in some way that it doesn't really do what you thought it was going to do for you, and then you start questioning. And then sometimes you start questioning, and then you're judged for your questioning. That's when I really start questioning. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not allowed to question. I saw that happening more and more and more outside religion during the pandemic. Remember when people questioned the vaccine and people would lose their mind just because somebody questioned?
oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, so now we're all going to get together and just decide that we trust drug companies all of a sudden, and if you don't, you're stupid or evil. What is that? But you're not allowed to question. Where are we living that we're not allowed to question?
Well, we
That
were
was an
taught
interesting
this.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, David, we were taught this, and in fact, one of the first rules of communication with your spouse, in your relationship, should be the rule of curiosity. Be curious what's real for another. But curiosity is also asking a question. So if your belief system is wrapped around that old belief system that asking a question makes you bad, wrong, and stupid, then you probably are shying away from doing that and
Well,
staying
what are we
stuck.
taught? We're taught that curiosity killed the cat, right?
Curiosity killed the cat. Curious. You want me to be what? You don't think I'm smart, so you want me to be curious? Well, yeah, because I'm talking to myself here. If I'm curious about the thought that comes into my head after something you've just said, what I'm able to do is articulate that and ask about that.
Yeah.
Period.
To me, being an intelligent person is about questioning everything.
That's
But
high
I will say
emotional
that we
intelligence.
talk about detuning judgment, questioning everything without going down the fear rabbit hole, though.
Yeah.
The conspiracy theorist judgment of, oh, the world is a horrible, dangerous, broken place, and there's all these evil people that are out to get us. I think you can look at that stuff and you can teach yourself to observe without judgment, and you can listen to a conspiracy theory, and very often they do turn out to be true or have some truth woven into them. So you can listen to it without going down the fear and judgment rabbit hole.
Agree. And I think that that's an important point that you're bringing up. You can choose fear and you can go down that with that thought pattern and you can continue the pattern, or you can shift and change it. Shift and do a dance, turn it around. I don't We have a choice in a moment to switch it up, to stop. You know,
Mhm.
I the thing I know is that when I'm stuck in my muck, probably I need to get out of my own head, my thought, and do something for someone else or take a nap so I don't act like a big 55-year-old 2-year-old.
Well, when you go down your spiral, having some tools in your toolkit to stop the downward spiral. First of all, if you feel yourself doing that, and then sort of neutralize, and then sort of start allowing yourself to naturally go back up. If you don't want to, intentionally pull yourself back up, that is a very valuable life skill.
Would you like to know that I threw a fit? I did kind of throw a fit earlier. I just did. I threw a tantrum. I just want you all to know this. Not for any particular reason. I just started whining because it was snowing and cold, and
You're not at the beach.
I have a lot. I've been working a lot. I love living in this house. I'm going to be honest. I love it. It's nice. But when David asked me, so how's it going? I'm like, yeah.
Well, I think your challenge, and this is up to you whether you want to take it on or not, is finding appreciation for what is.
Well, and that's what I've been doing. Absolutely. There's like a million things, from the sunset to the sunrise to the air to every bit, all the little bits and pieces. Putting together the jacuzzi and sauna room, and making it funky and trippy, kind of, hip campy. It's fun. And all of those things that we get to do, and meeting people from all over the world who come here and relax and stuff. So yeah, but there's also a part of me that I will not ignore, and that is the part that misses the beach air. And Leslie, I truly threw a fit. Okay. I did. I have no recourse. In fact, I said to Joe, look what I just did. I got myself some material for later with David because I just threw it. And I want everybody to know that, like, there's some compassion to be had in that. Sometimes it's okay to throw a fit. The difference is I know how to pull myself out of the pit. And I didn't break anything.
That's good.
Haven't done
when
that
I was
in a
younger,
while.
I was a thrower. I loved to.
Didn't you, though? It was just felt so beautifully dramatic. Like, we should have seriously been on film. I don't even know why we're not actors and actresses. Because seriously, how dare you talk to me that way? I just called you an asshole.
I can dip. I can certainly dip into anger and I catch myself pretty quickly and don't go there. Usually I just get it out.
Yeah.
And Michael, when I go there, Michael, like, what's wrong with you? You never do this. But every once in a while I will, and then it's just gone. And I'm 2 seconds later, I'm fine.
Yeah. But it's,
but we need to let it out sometimes. And you need to have it's okay to have an anger emotion and an anger experience. If you're a vibrational being and you're celebrating that, then the down part of the vibration is part of the gig.
We're human, perfectly human.
Yeah.
Period. That's all there is to this. And we're here having this human experience. And what's interesting about it is that, well, I don't spend a whole lot of time not being in this human experience. We're in it. And we are the creators of it. That's the thing. That's what this is all about. Claiming your power is those moments when I didn't give my power to anybody else. I wasn't mad at anybody today in particular. There was nothing, any person, place, thing, nothing.
You didn't feel victimized by the weather.
I was I was pretty butthurt about that weather. I was pissed. I'm like, Gaia, what's up? What's up? What's up? But then I realized that the grass seed we just planted is getting some great water right now. And the sun's peeking through up there just a tad bit. And there's always that silver lining. There's always a sense of appreciation, but it's the thought. I think the leading edge of thought must be appreciation, David. That must be the answer.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be it.
Because that's source. Source is appreciation, i.e. deep understanding of all that is, to the point you can't judge it. All of humanity's problems are solvable via appreciation.
All of them. All of them. I agree. There truly isn't anything else that I can say works like deep gratitude and appreciation. Just being in that space of grateful beingness. I can pull things out and just You know what it is I have to be okay with the outcome and be accepting and be okay. I don't have an attachment. Okay. It's however it's going to turn out. And whenever I do that, knowing the best and highest good's coming.
Yeah, and I can tell
I'm
you,
glad
I've
you put what
experienced.
GIO. Go ahead.
Here, we'll just show it. I have experienced things that I didn't understand in the beginning, but I found that quick appreciation for them, and they always leveled me up and served me on some level. Always, 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 and they always do. All of it will. But we've been taught to judge it, and we can learn that harmful habit. I don't want to call it harmful. It's a lower vibrational experience. And if we're watching this, if we're in this conversation, we want to have a higher vibrational experience. We want our general vibration to go higher.
You want to
Because
mount it? Yeah.
there's so much more available up there that most of humanity doesn't allow itself to experience because it's mired in fear and judgment. But not all
I,
of humanity.
I agree with that. I'm going to set you all straight with me right now. Listen, I want to tell you how ridiculous this tantrum of mine was today. So, 5 years ago, I was staying at 5 years ago. I don't know how long ago, David. It was a minute. I was at a ranch in Desert Hot Springs.
Oh yeah, the commune,
The commune
the hippie compound, the hippie commune that you lived on when we first met. Yeah,
I love that little place. So
I loved it too. It was really cool
cute.
going.
I know, it was awesome.
It was like something from a movie.
Completely.
It didn't see. It was a very surreal thing. Yeah.
Oh,
We could do a whole podcast just on that place.
Oh, the picture I have of David from there and the light that's coming through and he's channeling, and oh my God, it was amazing. I'm going to tell you all what, though. I'm just going to get really honest about all of it, which I've been honest before. It's nothing new. I was there and I was in a cabin and hoping to get things going, yada, yada, yada. After that, I don't know. There's been a long trek since then of where I am, where I'm going to be, how I'm going to be there, to being on this property in Alamosa here that we own. And really, there's the perspective of where I was and where I'm at now, and you guys have been along this journey with me. I'm in deep gratitude for it. When I start throwing a tantrum like I did today, I have to just get myself back in check. But the fact is, the things that are going on today are, in fact, I even said it. I go, you know what? This shit's not going to matter in a year.
Oh, in a minute.
In a minute. Oh, yeah. It's like whatever it is that's going on right now is so temporary.
What's the saying is, you've come a long way, baby. You have come a very, very, very long way.
I have came.
And that was an interesting experience. But you are,
way.
you're living on your property, on your ranch, and doing your thing there. You are on somebody else's property as a guest. And it was an interesting experience. And this is night and day to that.
Exactly.
But I'm glad you did it, because it was a freaky experience for me that I get to share about. And I remember driving out to this place. The first time I went out there, I couldn't find
is so cool.
It was not GPSable, so I'm in my Audi out in this dirt road trying to find this place in Desert Hot Springs. It's only like half an hour from where I was living in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it the first night. Threw in the towel, went home, said, okay, obviously I wasn't supposed to find it tonight. Went back another time during the day, and it's out this dirt road. And you drive up, and there's this big gate, this big, beautiful gate.
Gorgeous.
And this guy comes out, opens the gate for you. And I remember driving through the gate thinking, where the hell am I? Am I ever going to get out of here? Hotel California starts playing in my mind. Yeah. So it's out in the middle of the desert, really out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, nowhere.
Nowhere.
Like, there's nothing around. Desolate.
Sort of like where I'm at now. Desolate. Nowhere.
Yeah. And so I get through the gate, and there's like a main house, and then there's little cabins.
Yeah.
And I guess she had it kind of set up like a Airbnb where there were people that would come and rent.
It was.
And stay. And I remember once there were all these weed dealers that were staying there. Legal weed, I'm assuming legal weed dealers. But anyway, weed people that were staying there. And they all had their little conversion buses and stuff. And they were all on the property. And then there was it was very spiritually, everyone that was kind of a spiritual vibe, I guess. But they were paying to stay there. And then in the main house, this woman had her sister on life support in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a pretty big house. And you walk down this hall, into this big room at the very end of the house, and it was all glass, and there was nothing in the room except the sister on life support in the middle of the room. I mean, it was like a scene from a movie. The hospital bed, the machine with the beeps,
It
and it was
was.
that's all that was in there was the sister on life support. And this woman had obviously spent a whole lot of money to have her sister there with her instead of in a facility.
She did.
And then there was a hot spring pool and jacuzzi. And
Yep.
Debbie was living in this shed.
Cabin. It was not a shed. It was a cabin.
It was a cabin-like shed out back. And I'm like, what are you doing, Debbie? What's this about? And she was just happy as she could be. Hey, this is a cool place. Come
It
chat
was.
with
I had so
people.
much fun. It was ridiculous.
And it was fun, but it was definitely, it was trippy. It was a very trippy experience to be there. And the woman that owned it was really,
eclectic.
yeah. She was friendly and lovely and hospitable, but there was something, she wasn't completely connected to 3D.
Well, and
Fine.
which we, and I'm not here nor there on that one. But what I will tell you is that the perspective shift for me is where I was to where I'm at now. Where I was. If you're having a hard time, if you got a lot of things flying at you, if your panties are in a ruffle, if you might need a victim emergency but hurt kit, what I suggest you do is think about where you were at one time in your life where you weren't sure how the hell you were going to get out of it, and think about the fact you're still here because you can still think about it and you're still breathing. So by golly,
I'm experiencing, and if you stop it, make that I talk about stop gaps. Make that I'm experiencing right now, whatever it is. I did that when the house was burning. I remember sitting in the driveway with the house burning. I talked about this a lot lately, and just this is what we're experiencing right now.
Yeah,
this is what we're doing now. This is the experience. But we've been taught to judge all that stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm living in a, what did you call a cabin?
It was a cabin.
I'm living in a shed that looks like a cabin. But she wasn't. I mean, she was down with it. She was cool. I came to visit. We channeled. We hung out.
I freaking dug it. I was
came
like,
up there a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You know what? It was the idea. It was like, okay, so I looked at life as being this grand experience, this grand adventure. It's all just a grand illusion anyway. There's a song by Styx, The Grand Illusion, and that's all it is. And I remember being there though, and knowing that I was open and allowing to the experiences. And I had brought Jimi Hendrix's brother Leon there, so he wound up staying there all the time too. So there was like jams going, and it was a really cool place. But
yeah.
It was also a place of uncertainty. It was a place of, I had no ground under my feet, you guys. There was, I don't mean inside the actual
Well, it wasn't
cabin.
a forever thing for you or a long-term thing for you, because it was just a stop on your path, and you had bigger things waiting.
Right. But it had uncertainty. So my journey in uncertainty led me down a path of discovery. And you just said discovery earlier. I think discovery is very key here. I think discovery is a word that I want you all to think about it. Curiosity is discovery, right? When you're researching something, you're doing that because you're curious to find out more, to discover what are your possibilities. When you start asking the question in the field of uncertainty, and the question really is, can I just be okay right now as is?
Yeah. Well, I love that uncertainty thing, because the concept of certainty is a fallacy anyway, because we're not certain about anything other than the fact that we're going to have the death experience. We can be certain about that the physical experience has a beginning, a middle, and an end to it, and we're going to have that. And that's the thing that we can be certain about. That's it. There's nothing else, because all of this concept of security, there are people who thought they were financially secure and it all went away.
Correct.
There are people that think that they're secure in their government. It's funny. We're talking about maybe leaving the desert, and I'm looking at real estate, and Michael wants to live on the ocean, not near the beach, on it.
Yep.
And so, okay, let me find places that aren't $10 million plus that you can live in California. That doesn't exist, as we all know.
It doesn't exist there.
Yeah. So where something that we can be on the ocean the way that he wants to be. Well, it would be the South. It would be the deep South. It would be where I'm from, Louisiana, Mississippi. You can live on the ocean or on the Gulf in Mississippi for like $1 million, maybe
Really?
even a little less. And on it in a nice place. I'm sure you can live cheaper than that if it's not a super nice place, but a nice place. And I thought I could do that. I could live in Mississippi. I'm from Louisiana. I love New Orleans. I could live in Mississippi if he wants to live on the beach. And then I started doing a little research. Well, Mississippi has this law that they can openly discriminate against you based on your sexual orientation.
That's right.
Because of their religion. And I had to start thinking about that. I'm like, wow, so I could go to the supermarket and be refused service anywhere, any restaurant, anywhere. Do I want to deal with that? Do I want to deal with that? But, the politics is a precarious thing as always, but certainly it's more polarized than ever now. And there's certainly plenty of people in the United States that are supporting a more religion focused ideology where, gay people would not be.
That's back
there,
east.
There are plenty, there are people that have ran for governorships recently that want to round all gay people up and put them into camps and have a whole other Holocaust. So in 3D, that's a reality. Now, I'm not fearing that, but when you're looking at, okay, am I going to move from California, the most liberal state, to a state that might openly discriminate against me? Can I be in that experience and be joyful and know that I'm okay no matter what, and that the universe takes care of me? That's an interesting little thing to ponder. Speaking of the leading edge of thought, well, the leading edge of thought would be I can go anywhere. I could go anywhere. I just did another podcast, though, with Luke, and we were talking about Luke's a Taya Bootcamp graduate.
Right.
And Luke is from Pakistan, and Luke is gay and openly gay now. And his wife left him and took their child back to Pakistan. Well, a couple of years ago, he went to visit, and the wife's family turned him in for being gay, and he was arrested. I did a whole podcast on it. He was arrested, and he could have been, I think death is one of the penalties there for homosexuality, certainly long-term prison sentences. He had his Taya tools and ended up, kind of getting out of it, but he was arrested for homosexuality while he was there. So for me, it's like, am I putting myself in the path of a bigger test than I need? When I want my focus to be on sharing Taya with the world, I have to worry about, I'm not going to be able to go out to dinner tonight because we get refused service wherever we go to, just because we're gay. So that certainty/uncertainty thing, do I ultimately believe that I will always be okay and the universe takes care of me? Yes. But it's interesting to kind of dabble in these things that can sort of make you think in terms of 3D uncertainty.
I love that. I don't love the idea of you guys being back east. There's a lot of there's so much, a lot of stuff going on that we don't need to be part of, is what I figure.
Yeah. Maybe well, and then, I love Southern California. We've got the best weather. I mean, I love the terrain, and the weather here is phenomenal.
Yeah, but you know what? But the Big Island is really pretty rad, and you really can buy a house for $1 million on the beach there. Just saying,
Well, and then, there's another part of me that I don't think in terms of, I have to have a $10 million house, but I do think, if I'm trusting my abundance, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Well, I do believe that any level of manifestation is possible if you believe it. Whatever you bring yourself to consistently believe becomes your reality. I look at my life right now and realize my life is what it is right now because I believe that this is what my life is.
It's true. I'm right there with you. I'm sitting here in our house.
But you took a risk and you bought a ranch in Colorado. You got off the beach. You're having your experience in it now.
And I'm having withdrawal. I'm having withdrawals. Yeah. I'm going to be straight. If
I moved to Mississippi, I'd probably do the same damn thing.
I'm having major beach withdrawals, but we do have a sauna and we do have a jacuzzi and a cute, absolutely adorable room that we have. We're going to be making mocktails in there and having cute events, and But back to what you were saying, it's about the uncertainty. There was no certainty in this property whatsoever. There was no, it came up and it was the path of least resistance. And that's what's a mind blower. And in achieving this house, we chose the path of least resistance wholeheartedly because we were both like, if it happens, cool. And if it doesn't, okay. I'm open to whatever. Now that, mind you, there were things that had to be in place, like Joe's a vet, so he had the loan, right? And he had to have good credit, and all these other little pieces had to fit in place. But things fit in place that shouldn't have fit in place. That's the weird part.
Yeah, well, the universe will do that for you.
Well, and so
Yeah.
with all of the idiosyncrasy, weird synchronicity, crazy, weird stuff, it's what happened. But my ego is full blown withdrawing with having issues because of the ocean. I missed my ocean. I'm going to promise you, I was 2 miles from it.
Well, now it's falling from the sky, so enjoy.
It was falling. No, this was snow. It was not.
In
It was
frozen form. I
freaking
want to
rain.
show Leslie's comment so everybody can see it. Only from a place of not knowing can discovery be found. Yeah.
Yeah.
That certainty thing. You know, last year, October, November, I was very certain that I was going to be living in that house for a long time. And that house, I was thinking today, because the washing machine here in the rental house broke. We had brand new everything in the house. Everything, every top end appliance, everything. I had everything so dialed in. I had the best mattress. I had the nicest bathtub. I had the fanciest shower. We had the prettiest carpet in the bedroom, you know, and the most beautiful, everything was just so nice. And I would have thought, oh, we're going to be here for a long time. And I've got everything dialed in. I've got the kitchen the way that I want it. I've got everything exactly the way I want it. And then the damn thing catches on fire. And it's just gone.
David gets bored. See what he manifests when he gets bored in the house?
I need a disruption, and the disruption has been a very good thing for me.
Well,
I'm living in a nice house, but not nearly as dialed in as that one was. The washing machine's broken as of today, and I don't really care about that. That's not a big deal. But you know, that uncertainty is where the uncertainty of, oh gosh, this beautiful house I felt so connected to and at home in is just gone. It's a material thing that's just poof, is just gone in an instant. And, you know, it may stay that way for a while. Who knows? And here I'm in this rental house, loving that I'm living in a place for the first time in my adult life that I'm not trying to fix. I'm not trying to change. I'm not trying to upgrade. I'm not trying to remodel it. I'm not trying to buy something new for it. I don't care. It's just a house. Good. And I love it. And I think it's ugly, but I don't care because it's just a house.
It's just a house.
You know? It's just a place to crash and live. And Michael and I get up and have coffee and laugh and talk. And then we, you know, do our thing during the day in our respective offices. And then we get back together for mocktail hour most of the time. We're not drinking much anymore. And we watch the sunset and we play with the dogs and, you know, unwind in front of the TV. And then we do it again. And it's lovely. And I'm, you know, I love living someplace where I'm not so invested in the aesthetic and the value and we've got to sell it for more than we bought it for. And, you know, that's always been my MO, is to improve, enjoy it, and then sell it, make a profit, and go do it again somewhere else. And this is just, who cares?
But that's what it is, really. It's just a who cares. It is that.
A little vacation from my type A,
seriously, right?
You know, design aesthetic personality. Yeah, for sure.
Look, I got to tell you, you know, I talked to Joe about this the other day. Every single thing that I had up until 4 years ago, is gone. No photos, I had boxes of my kids' homework from, of course, kindergarten on. All of this happened in chunks, like starting in 2012, it just all chunked, just kept chunking. And I remember that I talked to somebody once who said that their mother had passed away, and they realized that they didn't want all this stuff. So then they started getting rid of their stuff because their kids aren't going to want their stuff, all this stuff and this thing. And it's so much fun to have stuff and you get it. That is the one thing you can always just rebuild stuff.
Yeah. Well, it turns into clutter ultimately.
But you can't can't get back those missed moments of time
Mhm.
that you
The
had,
experiences.
the
Yeah.
experiences. Yeah, like what you had with your coffee with Michael, who, hi Michael, I love you. And he's just so
He
cute.
probably is watching. He
Did
watches
you
us a
see
lot.
that picture of him in that white shirt, David?
Oh, yeah, I was with him when he took it.
Oh dear God.
The
That was just,
that was, Cinco de
oh,
Mayo.
oh, so stunning. So anyway, he's got the cute, just for all you listening, he's got the cutest husband. My God. Anyway, did I call him a husband or a partner? I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I don't care. It's all the same.
That's all the same. Anywho, uncertainty. You can, the stuff only has the value you give it. I remember the other day, Joe, I love you, but I'm going to use you right now. Something, oh yeah, that was like X amount of money when the Bose speakers, that this property's lined with Bose speakers that we keep pulling out and finding in places that Bose speakers probably shouldn't be. And he made me laugh. He's like, well, he was joking. You know how much those were worth when they were new. And I'm like, yeah, they didn't retain any value. But what really retains any value in the first place, as far as materialistic items, only the value in which you give them. And
Yeah.
once you're gone, if you have something that you're valuing at $5,000, but in actuality it might be worth 500, but in your head it's worth 5,000, and then poof, you're gone. Okay, you're a speckle in the sky, and the person sitting there looking at it, and they're like, "Oh, look at this! Isn't this sweet? Here, you want it? Here, you can have it. $500." The value is in the eye of the beholders and the perceiver. Is that it? Nothing else.
Well,
And
consumerism is a matrix, and it's a
well,
belief
it's a
system
total.
that we're taught, and it's
Yeah.
easy to fall into it because it's a big time matrix. We all see pretty pictures of pretty things, and I remember a friend of mine has an interior design business, and she was doing model home merchandising. So when you go to these new neighborhoods and they have the new house there, and it's this illusion they create
Mhm.
of people walking in and picturing themselves living there.
Right.
And
Stage.
it's the smell of a pie in the oven and the music playing and the fountains going out at the pool, and people are walking through thinking, gosh, we're going to be so happy when we live in this house. And then they buy the house and they move into it and they find themselves having the same problems or more down the road. All this illusion. New cars. I used to get a new car every 2 or 3 years. Every 2 or 3 years I had to have a brand new car because there's a new thing now that my car doesn't have on it, and I've got to have that new thing. I've got to have the latest and greatest of everything.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me in my late 30s, early 40s that, wow, I've got all this stuff and I'm still not happy. What's missing? And it's this illusion that consuming enough stuff or having enough money and enough perceived security is going to make you happy. Nothing is going to make you happy unless you're a joyful being to begin with. And that's about appreciating all that is, especially the little stuff that no one can package and sell to you. There's no ad for go outside and put your feet in the grass and listen to the birds chirp and breathe the fresh air and love being. Well, no, you got to go to a resort to do that for $1,000 a night. It's woven into society so much that a lot of people are running on that belief system of consumerism. And there's a million other isms beyond that. But source is not any of that. The leading edge of thought is learning to appreciate all that is and love whatever experience you're manifesting. We are living in a shed, we're living in a ranch, we're living at the beach, where this is what we're doing now. This is the
Yep.
experience that I'm moving through. It's not forever. And the sooner I find appreciation for what I'm experiencing, the sooner the energy is going to flow into something else.
That's it right there. Because that is what happens. And mine flowed in my life over here to Colorado. You're right, though. There is no go out, put your feet in the grass, smell the air, listen to the birds. We have dark skies where I'm at. Okay. Dark
I like
skies.
that too, though. I don't like it every day, but I do like a little dark sky, a little rain, a little thunderstorm.
Well, I do too, but
That's
I mean,
nice.
but we're talking dark skies where you can actually see the stars and everything.
Oh,
You're
okay.
Well, I
Dark
mean,
night sky.
you get it out there in the desert too, but
Yeah,
here, but not we're almost
you can
8,000
really
feet
see
up.
how blanketed the sky is there, I'm sure. That's
We
magnificent.
It is unbelievable. The birds here are incredible. But yeah, that is it right there. You know, the take the moment, and then Leslie said simplicity is key to living joyfully. I believe that that is true. I know that that is true. It is the simplicity. You can change, you know, the idea, because David, I heard you said you had to get a new car and you had to do all these things and you had to change these things in order to be happy, and then you weren't happy. Why? And we know why. Because happiness is found in within, and it's been a taught belief system that it is going to be found with outside of you, or that you're responsible for somebody else's happiness. What kind of pressure are you putting on yourself if you
Yeah.
think you're responsible for somebody
Or that you
else's
can't be
happiness?
happy because there's suffering in the
Oh
world.
yeah, you can't be happy because
As long as there's
or
suffering in the world, then, like, why hey, we're not allowed to be
or
happy.
you can't be happy
You're not
when
appreciating the other
yeah,
person's suffering journey.
it's a
That's a whole talk about
pickle.
leading edge of thought. Appreciating it, meaning that you are appreciating that they're here having their physical experience, that
Yeah.
you too have suffered and you have moved through it and you have probably grown in your suffering. But yet we want to hold suffering away from other people. There's so much now that people with kids want to keep their kids from ever experiencing anything negative. And then what do we have? We were standing in line at the UPS store to return some stuff the other day, and there were these little things. We're like, what is that? What is that? They're in a little plastic bag, and there were these clear little round dots. And this woman behind us said, "Oh, those are little pop things. They help with children's anxiety."
Oh.
So they're like a toy that you give a child now for helps them calm their anxiety. And as an older person, all I can think of, anxiety. Hell, I was just told to get the hell out of the house, or I'm going to beat the crap out of you. That was our childhood. Go play in the street. Go find something to do. And
Yeah, yeah.
it is a different world now.
Mm,
And I do think that there's a lot of well-intended coddling that happens of children that leaves them ill prepared for the reality of the very polarized environment that they're going to inherit. And that's their experience, so they're going to find their way through it and to it however they do, and it doesn't have to look like our experience. We're of our time. We're 55 years old, both of us, and so our we're products of our time. And
yeah.
now the people coming up, your grandchildren, are different. They operate on a different wavelength and a different operating system, and there are parts of it that are absolutely more advanced, and there are parts of it that are more stunted because of the advancements.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. I do believe that's true, 100%. I also believe that are in the 100th monkey, social change 2.0, that when enough of us are doing that thing, that thing becomes the norm, what's
Mhm.
called, whatever social norm may be. Right now we're in the I believe in the crust. We're seeing the social norm of uh those on the spectrum, those that are adults finding out they're on the spectrum. Most of it
Well,
by
and my
brought
definition
on
of on
by
the
trauma.
spectrum is people that are operating more outside the matrix purposely.
And I think we're seeing the 100th monkey effect happen. And some of us are aware of it actually happening. I think it is the new evolution of humans. And I think that that's the MTHFR or whatever, mother effer. It looks like that, but it's not. Gene, and that gene mutation simply doesn't allow for some people like myself to process folic acid normally. And instead, I need a methyl folic acid. There's a lot of people out there right now who are challenged with mental health, and it's as simple as that. We are in the change right now. We're in the change in
Major,
period.
major, major transformation for humanity, and we all feel it in different ways. COVID is a big glaring example of a symptom of that, for sure.
Yeah. COVID was our grand time of reset to realize that we were important enough to spend time with each other. I truly believe we're on this planet to not only learn to deeply honor ourselves as a human being with deep appreciation and deep acceptance, but also those that we that's probably those that we find most challenging. They're not the ones that are the easy peasy lemon squeezy,
Yeah,
like
the
Karen
cute
Palmer,
puppies and
who's a
children and people that we really appreciate normally.
yeah, like
Yeah, the
Karen Palmer,
detuning
who
this
I could
is,
just eat her
yeah.
up, right?
Yeah, detune your the politicians that scare the hell out of you, or the pundits that are always instilling fear, or the the people that think that you're a kook because you're into spiritual stuff. I mean, there are plenty of those. I don't. That's never bothered me. That has never bothered me because the truth that we discover, or I shouldn't say the truth as much as the experience that we discover in this type of thought. I have been that 3D, very material focused person and really didn't enjoy the experience. And I really, really, really love this experience. So we're going to close out with a little challenge for everybody to discover some new layer of appreciation for your journey, wherever you're at. If you're in Colorado in the snow and you're hating it, it's finding a new layer of appreciation for it. For me, it's the Mississippi thing's not really a big deal for me. For me, it's the judgment of the burnt down house sitting across the street with nothing going on because the insurance company isn't moving to do anything. So that's something that's something for me to detune. So you all have something. There's some other new layer of something that you're stuck in judgment of that you can find authentic appreciation for. And you got to go deep to do that sometimes. And I mean authentic. Authentic appreciation is not just, oh, I just love the snow. Isn't it great that we're here? You're not there all the time. When you're down your spiral, the old feelings come plummeting back. You have your spin out like you did today. And that's a sign that, okay, this is a good sign from the universe that I've created for myself that there's something here to detune. So think about what that is. So that's our challenge as we close up here is, what is it that you have that is lurking in your vibrational basement that you could do some work around and you've been avoiding it for whatever reason. Maybe it just feels like that little blanket, that little cocoon we wrap ourselves in of fear and judgment and, oh, they're being mean to us. They're not building our house back yet, or whatever that is. So think about that. Think about how you can break free of that and move into full-blown appreciation for what is and experience it differently. And then without needing any change, notice how things change.
Get back with us and let us know how it changes.
Remember comments wherever you're watching this. We want to hear it.
Tune into the keywords that were spoken here today too, because there were some really great ones. Curiosity, discovery, uncertainty. Feel into them as you are going through the process of the thing that you need to detune. And let us know how they're working for you and how are you working it. You're your own life scientist, for goodness sake. Get it going.
Debbie, thank you so much as always.
It was a total blast. I love you guys out there. Love you, David.
Love you. Bye, everybody.